Diane Wilson walked into the luxurious elite shooters club, and the cold looks hit her instantly. The receptionist, dressed in a perfect suit, eyed her with doubt. "You must be lost. General services are out back," he said. Diane, her hair silver and her face marked by years of service, calmly placed a worn VIP card on the marble counter. "I'm a guest of General Roberts," she replied. The receptionist chuckled under his breath while a group of men in expensive tactical gear looked on, amused. "This card expired 5 years ago," he said, sliding it back toward her. Diane didn't flinch. After 40 years in the military, 20 of them as an elite sniper, she had seen far worse. The club was a playground for the wealthy, all glass and steel, with memberships costing more than most houses. When the receptionist finally checked the system, his expression changed. "Lane 10, he said reluctantly. As Diane signed in, Alexander Morgan, a tech billionaire and key club shareholder, walked over. "Is this a joke? Since when we let people like her in?" he said loudly. "Told she's Robert's guest," someone replied. Morgan smirked. "What do you do?" "Clean weapons." "I use them," Diane said evenly. The room erupted in laughter. Morgan, enjoying the moment, threw out a challenge. The club's toughest trial, the Alexander Duma Challenge. 10 perfect shots at 500 meters, the ultimate sniper test. "If you win, I'll pay for your membership," he taunted. "Fail, and you clean our toilets." Phones came out to record. Diane agreed instantly. The group led her to the range, handing her a basic, poorly maintained rifle, a clear setup for failure. "Adjust it if you can," scoffed instructor Trevor Powell. Unshaken, Diane began making precise adjustments. Every movement was smooth and confident, a sign of decades' experience. Among the crowd, a young shooter, Sophia Chun, watched with unease. "Why are they treating her like this?" she asked quietly. "Because she doesn't belong," the instructor next to her said coldly. What no one there knew was that Diane's hands had saved countless lives in battles the public never heard about. Her calm eyes had seen sandstorms, ambushes, and long nights in forgotten war zones. She carried invisible scars these privileged onlookers would never understand. Commander James Foster, a retired military instructor, noticed. His eyes held recognition, not mockery. "You have 1 hour to prepare," Powell said sarcastically. 20 minutes will do," Diane replied. Morgan grinned, confident for a janitor. "I've seen a few rifles," she said softly. Laughter grew louder, but Foster stepped forward. "James Foster," he introduced himself. "That's not a standard rifle grip you're using." "Vise a battalion," Diane said. "Sniper, 20 years, 37 missions." Recognition lit up Foster's face. "The ghost of Fallujah," he whispered, a name spoken with respect in veteran circles. "They have no idea who you are," he said, glancing at the jeering crowd. "Better that way," Diane replied, adjusting her scope. Foster offered to bring her a better weapon from the armory, but she shook her head. "I'll use what they gave me." In the main hall, Morgan popped champagne, certain she would fail. Bets were placed on how fast she'd give up or miss a target. Sophia, still uneasy, spoke to Foster. "Be patient," he told her. "They'll learn." The 20 minutes vanished quickly. The crowd gathered at the range. "Time's up," Powell called. "Ready to quit?" Diane lay in position, half a kilometer stretch between her and the tiny target. "I'm ready," she said, her voice steady. "First attempt," Powell announced, his smug tone cutting through the silence. "Whenever you're ready, madam." Diane didn't answer. Her eyes looked through the flawed sights, not at the paper target, but at memories of far-off deserts and pitch-black nights where every shot she fired had meant survival for her squad. Her hands, dismissed by some as too old, knew exactly how to time each breath and heartbeat. The sabotage trigger was no real problem, just another obstacle she had learned to overcome. She inhaled, held, and fired. The shot echoed across the range. The monitor lit up 10,000 dead center. "Beginner's luck," muttered Tyler Black with a smirk. Without reacting, Diane reloaded, adjusting her grip in tiny, precise ways that account for the faulty scope. Inhale, hold, fire. 10,000. The crowd stirred. Even Morgan, who had been lounging with champagne, now sat upright, eyes fixed on the screen. Third shot, 10,000. Fourth shot, 10,000. Fifth, 10,000. The bullets traced the exact same path, the holes merging into one perfect circle. Powell leaned in toward the monitor, his face tightening. That's not possible, he whispered. Sixth shot, 10,000. Morgan jumped to his feet and stormed toward the technician. Check it. The system must be broken. There's no error, sir, the technician replied calmly. Sensors are accurate. She's hitting the exact same spot. Seventh shot, 10,000. For the first time, Morgan's smug confidence began to falter. The Alexander Dumas challenge had never been beaten. Even with his custom rifle, Morgan had never passed 6 shots. Who is she? He demanded, turning to Foster. Wrong question, Foster said coolly. The right one is, why did you assume she couldn't be? With each perfect shot, the entire club seemed to freeze. Conversation stopped. Other shooters lowered their rifles. Even the club CEO, a retired colonel who rarely appeared in public, stepped forward. Am I seeing this right? He asked, eyes narrowing at the screen. 9 shots, someone corrected, just as Diane pulled the trigger again. 10,000. Tyler's phone streamed it all live. What began as a stunt to humiliate her was now capturing history. Then came the final shot. Diane did something unexpected. She turned and locked eyes with Morgan. Calm, steady. Then, in one smooth motion, she raised a rifle, aimed, and fired. 10,000. The monitor flashed. Record set. 100 out of 100. Dumas challenge completed. The room fell silent. Then came a single clap. Foster's. Then Sophia's. Then the rest joined in, until the applause roared from officers, elite shooters, and even some of Morgan's own friends. She cheated, Morgan shouted, charging forward. I want an inspection. This is rigged. Mr. Morgan, Powell said, visibly uneasy. Every shot was recorded. The system is flawless. I don't care. I want answers. Can't accept that someone beat you? The CEO asked sharply. Or is it because she's black? Or a woman? Or 60? Cameras kept rolling. She just appeared out of nowhere. Morgan protested. She didn't appear, Foster snapped. That's Colonel Diane Wilson. 40 years of service, 20 as a top sniper in special ops. The room went silent. From the back came a whisper. The ghost of Fallujah. I'm not a ghost, Diane said softly. Just someone who never stopped practicing. 22 commendations, Foster added. 17 deployments, most classified, and you had her cleaning bathrooms. The CEO stepped forward, offering his hand. Colonel Wilson, welcome to the Elite Marksman Club. Lifetime membership fully paid. Tyler's camera caught Morgan's expression collapsing. Diane placed the rifle down. About our bet, Mr. Morgan, she said. I believe you owe me a year's membership. Morgan hesitated, sweat beading on his forehead. Yes, the deal's a deal. I'd like to change it, Diane continued. Instead of paying for me, fund scholarships for young shooters from underprivileged communities. Start with my granddaughter, Zoe. The room erupted in applause again. Those 10 shots hadn't just set a record. They had broken a barrier. Within 24 hours, the footage went viral, earning millions of views. What began as humiliation ended as a movement. Sports media exploded. Sponsorship offers poured in. Shooting clubs across the country suddenly saw applications from young athletes who had never felt welcome before. 6 months later, Diane became the face of change. Her image was displayed at competitions. Her name spoken with respect. The once exclusive club now funded youth programs, starting with Zoe. The CEO even launched a national inclusion initiative. As for Morgan, his reputation never recovered. Public backlash cost him sponsors and influence. The live stream meant to shame her had sparked a revolution, and Diane stood at the center of it, not just as a champion marksman, but as a quiet force for transformation. When the Elite Marksman Club held its annual gala, Diane took the stage, not to fire a weapon, but to speak. She ended simply, "You don't change a sport by talking. You change it by showing up and hitting your mark."